So is equity Satan's counterfeit to equality? Should we aim for equality instead of equity? Again, it depends on the definitions you assign to the meanings in our current culture and what's happening in the world. Yes, equity is a fraud replacement for true equality. Equality is the equality that we all have as children of God, created in the image of God, that was described in the Declaration of Independence, that we have inalienable rights given to us by our Creator, that no government, our rights that we receive from God are not granted by the governments. They are inalienable, inherent as children of God, and the right to love, the right to think, the right to be self-determining and governance of yourself, et cetera, et cetera. These inalienable rights, life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, these inalienable rights were given to us by God, and the governments will try to take them away, and we see throughout history the ways of government abuses, but governments don't give us those rights. Equity is not about actually recognizing the equality of all persons to have the right to life, the right to liberty of their decisions, including if you respect somebody who is capable, the person has the right to not go to work, not get a job. That's what they choose to do. And then they have the right to go hungry. That's what Thessalonians said. Those who don't work should not eat. Equity says, no, that's not right. Equity is even people who won't exercise and won't apply themselves to the abilities that they actually do possess, but they won't do it, they still have the right to receive the same benefits as the hardworking person. And we need to take away from the hardworking person what they've achieved through the application of their God-given abilities and give it to people who have been negligent in fulfilling their duties in life. We're not talking now, let's be very clear, we're not talking about using resources to bless people with disabilities and to help people that are actually incapable of helping themselves. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about people who purposely are negligent in their responsibilities of governing themselves. Equity says it doesn't matter. We still want to advance them artificially. So a person who doesn't study in school and therefore doesn't pass an exam and therefore can't maybe even read and write, equity says we still have to graduate them on to the next class if they're from a disenfranchised or an oppressed group, to make sure we have the same numbers represented of those who worked hard and applied and learned than those who didn't. We have to have everybody equally represented. I'll give you a simple example that happened in the military. As you know, equality would be the principle that every adult has the equal opportunity to pursue their dreams. So equality would say that a woman who wants to have a combat role is given the opportunity to do it. So the rules were changed and women could apply for combat roles. But the standards, so the military developed a new physical fitness standard that men and women had to pass to enter into a combat role, because in actual combat, having certain physical attributes makes it more likely that both you and your comrades will survive the combat experience. If you are physically weak in a combat environment, you're more likely to die, as well as some of the people in your unit are more likely to die because you aren't able to fulfill your, so it helps the unit function better to have a certain level, a minimum level of physical strength. So they made a standard physical fitness combat physical training, and anybody who passed it, male or female, could go into a combat role. And once they rolled that, out, they discovered that about 90% of men passed it and about 20% of women passed it. That's exactly predictable because men and women are not equal physiologically. Men have more muscle mass. They have more nuclei in the muscle receptors, so they actually can have more muscle strength. They have larger heart-lung capacity, so they can oxygenate faster. So as a population, men always are physiologically stronger as a population group than women as a group. And so it was very predictable that men would have a higher passing rate on a standardized physical test than women would. And that is how equality works, because all of them had an equal opportunity to apply themselves to a standard, and all those who passed the standard got to go and fulfill their dreams. Those who couldn't pass the standard didn't get to go. But equity said that's not right. we have to have 50% women and 50% men. So they lowered the standard for women until they had 50% of the women, or the same numbers of women passing as men. So we have 50-50 and that is what equity does. And equity is not equality. It is an artificial rule system put on to ensure certain outcomes are achieved that the people in power want to have. And in doing so, you always injure and obstruct others from achieving their dreams. You always hurt somebody in doing that. Just apply that across the standard of any other thing that you want to talk about, and you will see the corruption. Yes, it's Satan's artificial system, not based on actual objectives and design law. Next question.